Greetings and welcome to today's tutorial on getting started with Profit CRM for Outlook. My name is Warren Stokes and I'll be your presenter today. The agenda covers a lot of topics, but we're going to start by defining our objectives just briefly with the CRM, what you're trying to accomplish. We'll cover preparation on your computer as well as the Profit installation setup, and then spend some time working in Profit. It's useful to spend just a few minutes to get your mind around your objectives, because after all, that's why you'll be trialing Profit or perhaps installing it for the first time. So some examples include perhaps you just want better communications, like who talked to the customer or prospect last, maybe time, date, and some of the notes. Perhaps you want better follow-up on leads or existing clients. Maybe just get more organized, increase efficiency. Most people want to get better insight into your business, and very importantly, drive revenue. And Profit CRM will help you do all these things, and how it works is it adds CRM functionality to Microsoft Outlook. It provides contact and account management. You can manage leads, opportunities, and your entire sales pipeline. Helps you create automated follow-ups so things don't slip through the cracks, and provides a variety of reporting and analytics. So let's start by getting your computer prepped up. You have to have a PC running Windows and Outlook version 2007 or higher. We support everything from 2007 through 2016. Check to make sure that you're on Windows Vista or higher. Most people are on Windows 7, 8, or 10 these days. We support all of them. Make sure you have plenty of RAM. 4 gigabytes of RAM is recommended. More is better. Check for your Microsoft.NET Framework version. Those of you who may not know what that is, go into your control panel and look at your program list when you go to install or change a program. Microsoft.NET Framework should be listed, and you're looking for version 4.5.2 or higher. If you don't have it, simply Google it for the download and just update that. There's no charge for doing that. It just helps your machine and Office in general run better. Now, prepping your contacts will be something that you can do in advance, or you can do it later. But one of the things that people may want to do is mark their contacts that are personal in nature as private. So this is an Outlook function. You can do it simply by going into your contact view, putting private in your column selector, and just clicking off those contacts that are personal in nature. So Profit will never read those personal or private contacts into the CRM. Another way you can do that is simply create a different folder, a separate folder for your Profit contacts. You can also categorize contacts beforehand. Profit does allow you to use the Outlook category function, and you may want to remove duplicates before installing Profit, although Profit does have a duplicate prevention and a dupe cleanup feature in it. The installation of the software, first of all, you'll have signed up for a trial or receive this email with this link in it from your administrator if you're a new Profit user. And all you're really going to have to do is click on the download link that I'm showing you here. You'll save the Profit 7 client exe file locally to your computer. And then you're going to close Outlook, and you're going to double click on that exe file that you just saved and just follow the simple steps of the wizard. It's very straightforward. It takes a few minutes. Then you're going to go through and you're going to run the Profit Setup Wizard. And you do that, first of all, by just opening Outlook. You'll see a welcome screen, and then you just enter your email address and Profit password and simply follow the prompts. It will take you through a few steps in the wizard, and then at the end you'll be in what we call Profit Contact Manager. So I'm just going to switch our view over and go right into my Contact Manager. You'll see here that this is just Outlook, and I've launched into the folder called Profit Contact Manager. You can see the folders that have been created on the left by installing Profit. There will be a root folder called Avidian Profit, and then you'll see a number of folders under that folder list. And again, we're launched automatically into the Contact Manager folder. However, you can switch views. I can go back to my inbox or any Outlook folder at any time, but we're going to spend a few minutes talking about Contact Manager. So what this has done is it's read all of the contacts that are in your local folder that are not marked private, and it's put them into a new view in which you can do a number of things. And the first concept that I want to cover is this concept of views. So you'll notice in the upper left there's a drop-down with the label View, and this will allow you to, your first view will be all contacts or my contacts, but then you can create numerous different views. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you a few of the functions of how you can start managing your contacts more effectively. So first, how do you create a new view? Well, it's actually quite simple. You can be in any particular view, like I'll go into one called Warren's Active Contacts. And this is a view of about 4,000 contacts that I have. And I could create a new view. So the idea here is you may want to filter this or sort it by certain criteria. So I can go in here to my little Edit This View button, which is right here next to your drop-down, and I'm going to create some edits to this. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to, in my contact view options, I'm going to select additional filtering. And I'm going to start typing in the word state, and it'll bring up the field state or province. And I'm going to say that value will equal, let's just say FL for Florida. And I'm going to click OK. So out of 4,077 contacts, you see I have 234 contacts in the state of Florida. In fact, you can see them all listed here. So now that I like that, I'm going to save that view and give it a name. I'm going to say mouse over the tools drop down, and you'll see on the right there's some new options here, and one of them is Save View As. It's just like Save File As, if you think of it that way. And I'm going to call this Florida Contacts, very creatively. And I'm going to give it a definition, a description of Warren's contacts in Florida. There we go. I could add additional filters if I want, but that's what I'm going to do for now. So I've now saved that view, and you can see up here it's called Florida Contacts. However, I can go back to any view that I might want to go to. You can navigate these views just by going into the drop-down. So I'll go back to my active prospect, my active contact view. There it is. So all I'm showing you is that you can create new views by creating filters or sorts. You can also add columns into your view. You can, if you notice, you can scroll over here on the right. Maybe I want the phone number to show up before the email. Watch, I can just drag it and drop it right over there. And now the phone number is in my main window there, as you can see, business phone. If I like that change, I go right-click and say Save Changes to View. That saves the changes that I just made. Now, if I want to go back into my Florida contacts, I just go into where it says Florida Contacts, and it brings up that view. Pretty cool. So the idea here, again, is that you can create as many views as you like, and each view can have different filters and sorts. Now, the difference between a filter and a sort, it may not be obvious to you. A filter is when you're basically limiting or reducing the number of records by some criteria, in this case, only those that are in Florida. A sort is simply changing the order in which these records appear. So zip code would be a good example. I can sort descending by zip code, or by created date, which is useful, or maybe by modified date. So if I sort it by newest modified date, that's pretty obvious what that is. These are my most recently modified contacts. Very neat. Now, down below, you'll see a row of tabs here: General, Notes, Opportunity, and so on. And one of the concepts here is, let me go into a view that I have some information in. I call it Warren's Hollywood Contacts. These are just a list of people that some of my friends in Hollywood. So I'm going to start with my first one here, Julia Roberts. You can see that there's already some notes in here. In fact, it says on December 21st, I made a phone call. Here's my notes from that phone call. Julia called and we discussed the idea for a new film. She was intrigued and asked me to send a draft screenplay. So that's a note in my notes here. I can just type them in, or I can actually enter a note with an activity without even entering that. Like if I left a voicemail for Julia, I could just say left a voicemail. Or I could type things in or copy and paste things into this area. Basically, it's just an ongoing log of notes and activity that you've had with that contact. It just helps you stay organized. By the way, these activity entries are customizable. You'll see that when you're first using Profit, there's a default list of them, but you can change them. Maybe there's some specific activities that you want to track. And I'll touch on that briefly here in today's tutorial on how to customize fields. Another thing you could do is see if there's any opportunities associated with this contact. I just went to the Opportunity tab. I clicked Search, and look at that. It brought up an opportunity. I'll touch on this briefly. This is a record that shows some sort of business or sales opportunity that I have, in this case with Julia Roberts and her company. Now you can see here there's a lot of different information about the nature of this opportunity. In this case, you can see that I have a lot of different status and stage settings and so on. I'm going to get into this a little more later. The purpose of this part of the demonstration is just to show you that you can access any opportunities associated with the contact. I can also track activities. If I want to track all the emails associated with Julia, I can just select the email, filter by, and it'll bring up all of the emails. In fact, here's an email that I sent recently. You can see that it's just an Outlook email that it retrieved, and it says, "Hi, Julia, I'm going to be in your area next month. Mind if I drop by?" There's an email that I sent her, and so on. You can also link files to that, to the contact. This just creates a hyperlink to wherever those documents might be stored. There's a document that I've got linked to the file, and to add a document, I simply click Add, and link document, and it'll bring up my list of locations here. This is just the Microsoft Windows Explorer. Notice that I can use cloud drives, OneDrive, Dropbox, doesn't really matter. They could be on your local computer. They could be on your network drive. These are just links to documents. That's all these are. So if I open this, double click on it, you can see it brings up a document, in that case a proposal. You can also set automation for the contact. I'm not going to get into a great deal of depth on this, but it's nice to see that you can set a series of automated follow-ups that can consist of emails, reminders to do something like make a phone call, meeting requests, and they can be scheduled out into the future. You can select them all, or you can select certain ones simply by checking the box. This basically helps automate the follow-up process. And you can create up to 20 customizable fields that are all going to be associated with that contact. These are just examples, but the type of contact, is it a prospect, a customer, partner, an employee? Are they maybe a qualified lead, yes or no? Maybe you want to get some personal information, then it's kind of a typical thing you might want to do in relationship building. What's their anniversary date? What are their hobbies? You can just capture information like that as you go, maybe what position that person is in their company, last contact date, next contact date, and so on. And if you fill these things out, you just click apply, and they'll be available to you not only here in this record, but in other views, as I'm going to show you next. So one of the concept of views that I like is I have a view called Hobbies, Contact Hobbies. I'm just going to go to that to show you another little thing that you can do in Contacts. So I have a view called Contacts Hobbies. You see it just has the field Hobbies from the profile down below. It's one of the custom fields. Golf, fishing, tennis, and whatnot are in those fields. So one thing I could do here is I could just create a filter on the fly. If you don't want to save it, you don't have to. And I can just say, let's search for everyone whose hobby is, let's do tennis today. All right, and so now I have 56 contacts whose one of their hobbies is tennis. Maybe I want to select all or part of that list, and here's something very useful you can do with Profit, is you can launch a group email very easily. Select your list just with your keyboard, right-click, and say send a group email. Profit creates a recipient list, little three-step wizard, very easy. Choose your format and personalize it with a salutation. Now the first one that comes up is just the first one in the list that you're going to compose your email. Now I use a lot of templated content even in Outlook, so in this case I just pulled up from one of my templates, and I'm going to give it a subject line, and look there, I've got a nice little email created, and when I click send, a personalized email is going to go out to everyone on that list. That's a nice feature. A note gets put in their file that an email was sent, and by the way, that's a searchable email. Whenever you're tracking emails, you can find any of those as well. So pretty nice. So contact management is the basic idea of having a centralized database of contacts where you can capture unique information, create different lists and views, and then you can do things like send emails. You can also do things like send letters or cards or print envelopes or labels. So these are some of the things you can do with a contact. Now, one of the things that we can do with a contact is we can create an opportunity with the contact. So this will get us into the next section here of opportunity creation and tracking. So the idea of an opportunity is that it's typically related to a contact and or a company, and to create one, for example, I could create one. Let's use Jessica here. I could create a new opportunity for Jessica by just selecting her name and going up to this little new drop down and say new opportunity with this contact. Now this brings up that contact form I showed you a little earlier. This is also a customizable form, and I'm just going to call this one a tutorial example so I don't confuse it with my real opportunities I have with Jessica. but I'm just giving that description. Now the status, customizable as they are, but this is my status, active, won, lost are the defaults. Stage, think of this as just the steps you go through in your sales process. In our case, we get a lead, do some qualifying, do a product demonstration, maybe send a proposal, get payment, close the deal. We also have some post-sale stages. And when I get into automation, you'll see why those stages are so important. Then we like to track territory by time zone. So let's say Pacific time zone. Maybe we like to know what CRM you're using, but basically these are fields that are up to you. Maybe you want to list who the competitors are or something of that nature. You can assign this a probability, an estimated close date, put some kind of revenue numbers in it, and again, these field labels can change. Yours might say annual revenue or project revenue. I'll just put $150,000 for my royalties on the film. And next step, call about the screenplay. That's my next step, and Profit lets you put a next step in there. If you want, it can remind you with an Outlook reminder. I think that's an awesome little feature. Now I've created this opportunity, and I might put some notes in here. Discussed the new film, and let's say this was by a phone call. Put in that note in my opportunity record. There it is. Later on, I might come back. Don't get Jessica on the phone. I leave a voicemail. And again, these are just those activities. Maybe I send a proposal, and you can see that. Just a nice little list, chronological list of activities that you enter. And by the way, if you're using this in a team environment, which is certainly one of the key concepts, the idea here is that other people that have permission to view this record can now see what's been going on. They can see all the notes. They can see any emails. They can see any appointments, tasks, files, and so on associated with this record. But I am going to touch on one piece of automation called workflow, because one of the things you may want to do in your trial or as you set up Profit for the first time is set up some automation. So check this out. Workflow automation is the ability to set a series of automated follow-ups based on the stage you're in. Remember these stage settings. So at stage 1, I might want to launch a follow-up campaign. Some people even call this a drip series or drip campaign by simply clicking that button right next to the label. Now, a number of cool things just happened. I've got a reminder in 5 days, a reminder in a week. I've got an introductory email already set up, and I've got myself an appointment set with Jessica here for 3 days from now. But notice it's already filled out. It says, hello, Jessica. Thanks for your interest in Profit, et cetera, et cetera. I'll just click send, or I could edit that a little bit if I want, because right now it's just an Outlook email. I send it, and guess what? That email is now tracked in the emails file. Any appointments that I've set are tracked in the appointment area, so I can retrieve those emails, appointments, tasks, and so on. And notice that I have a whole series of automated follow-ups. In fact, in this case, you can see how my series goes out to March 28th. So that's pretty awesome. Just make sure things don't fall through the cracks. We have more detailed training and tutorials on that particular feature of sales automation. But again, you might want to experiment with that. Let us know if we can help you with that at all. So I'm just going to save that. So we created an opportunity, and now we can also view them. Well, we can view them down here under the Opportunities tab. You can see I have several opportunities going on with Jessica here. But I can also go over here on the left. Again, remember these folders. That's how you'll navigate your different views. And I can simply click on my Opportunity Manager. So let's go there for a moment. Now that we've seen how to create and fill out an opportunity, let's see what you can do with them. Well, this just creates a list view. You can see they're all just individual list of all these different opportunities. Here's one with Jack Nicholson. He's got the Nicholson X company. I'm sure you're all familiar with that company. Maybe I give him a call, leave him a voicemail, save and close, go to the next one. Let's talk to Tom, see what he's been up to lately. Maybe I want to send Tom an email real quick. So, Tom, let's get together soon, right? I'm just showing you the kind of things that you might want to do when you're in an opportunity, okay? So let me put my little apostrophe in there so we got good grammar. Send that off, and that's an email, just a regular old Outlook email. But again, by sending it from the opportunity, now that email is tracked, and you can see it right here in the Emails tab. So the idea here is that you can do things like keep your notes, track of your notes, left a voicemail, made a phone call. You can track emails. If you create appointments, they'll be listed here. You can link files to the opportunity, and you can set automated follow-up. Now, the idea here is that I might want to take certain part of this list and filter it down by some criteria. Let's say that I want to filter it down. It's kind of like Excel. We've designed this intentionally to look like Excel. So I've got 12 opportunities here, but let's say I want to only look at those in a certain stage. Let's just say product demo stage. Click, click. I can see, oh, now I have a list of people who have in my sales stage 4, product demo stage. Maybe I want to see if they need a proposal, so I can now just right-click, send that specific targeted list of prospects who I know they haven't received a proposal because they're only in stage 4, but they've seen the demo. I could send a very targeted email out to them saying, hey, maybe you'd like to schedule a demo. Some of you on this training might have done that with us or even with me. It's an awesome way to help automate things. And you can have different views. Like here's a view that I've created of all of my opportunities that are active that are in proposal stage. That's pretty handy. I'll give you 2 or 3 concepts here that will help you manage your opportunities. I'm going to go into one that's just called Warren's Active Pipeline. This is actually real data. I've got 118 active leads, and they're all different stages and stuff. So I can sort by any column just by clicking on that. So I clicked on that field called Sales Stage, and it sorted them. So there's all my stage 1. Here's all my stage 2. Here's all my stage 3, 4, and 5, and so on. So you can sort, which changes the order in which they appear. You can also filter. Maybe I want to filter this by only those that are in stage 1. So out of 118, awesome, I've only got 9 in stage 1. That's actually a good thing because, you know, the idea is you want to move these through the stages. So I'm just going to go back and select them all. So let me give you the concept here. You can add multiple filters. Let's just say I want to filter this by everyone that's in proposal stage and that meets some other criteria. Let's say in this case it was a certain type of lead. I'll just say one of our campaigns is called the Viewmetrics campaign. So I've added 2 filters. I could add a third, and you know what? If I like this view, I could do a tools save as, just like we did in contacts. I can save views, give them different names based on the filters or sorts that I put in there. Pretty awesome. Another thing that you can do is that you can actually generate documents from these opportunities, which you can also do from contacts and companies, by the way. But notice here I have a right click, and one of the things I could do is generate files. And I'm going to say if I want to generate let's just say a proposal, I can basically just select from my list that template, and it'll auto-fill certain fields. So I'm just going to call this an example. And that's the name of the file is all I'm doing, creating it there. In this case, what I've done is I've selected the ability to create a Word document. And so what's going to happen here is that Profit will just pull out all of the fields that I've put into the template that are related to that particular company, and you'll see that it's throughout the document here. It will have all kinds of different things filled in automatically. You can even see throughout the document the company name or contact names are filled into the proper fields automatically. You can actually even do it in headings. For example, you can see one of these headings right here is, there we go, it's the ability to put it into the header format. So you can create Word documents. You can also create Excel documents. Same idea, only in this case, I'm going to generate an Excel file. Now, it'll take a little setup to get your templates in order, but check this out. I'm going to create an Excel quote in this case. I'm going to call it a quote, give it a file name, and click Create. And in this case, it's going to fill out all of the sales information to generate a quotation from that opportunity. So literally in a couple clicks, I've got myself a bona fide quotation. I'm ready to print it or create a PDF of it and send it to the client. And this is an Excel template. You can do all sorts of wonderful things with Excel, I'm sure. And you can still edit this. This will pull out all the information from the opportunity, but you can also still edit it before you send it. You can use this for sales orders, quotes. You can also, just a little bonus material here, create related links of different like graphs and so forth, which is one of the things I do because I can take that data all from that same record, that same little export, and put it into a file where I can now have, in this case, it would be a total cost comparison compared to our products and maybe a competitor. So these are some of the things that you can do once you get into a view or you're looking at a particular record. So I'm going to touch on the idea of company management because many of you work with existing clients over and over again. So I'm going to go over here, and all I'm doing here is I'm clicking on the folder Company Manager. Now the concepts are similar, But you'll see that there are some differences. First of all, yes, I can put in notes about, activity with the companies, left a voicemail, made a phone call. But if I were to open up one of these records, you'll see that basically it has contacts listed with the company. They're associated with the company. This company has other information and has customizable fields here. You can see that we use it for capturing information about the account, maybe their IT environment, data requirements, but these 3 tabs are fully customizable, so you can keep track of the companies. So I can also set automated follow-up with the companies, see if there's any opportunities with that company, and so on. In this case, yes, there's an opportunity. I can track emails, anyone at that company. Very similar concept, but at the company level. You can do all the same sorts of things. I can generate a proposal or a quote based on the company. We also have integration with different mail, like marketing programs that you might want to integrate with. More on that in a separate tutorial. So I'm sure many of you are wondering, well, it keeps mentioning customizable fields. How is that done? Well, there's basically a website that you go to that's a secure admin console. I'm just going to show you over here what it looks like. And when you log into that website, by the way, in your case, it's going to be called profitondemand.com. So all you do is go to www.profitondemand.com and you put in your Profit credentials and sign in. This brings you into a view called your admin console. You'll see that there's a variety of things you can do here. What we've been looking at primarily are the templates. I'm going to show you a little bit about what they look like. So for example, here's one of the base templates. You can see that you can edit these things, like here's the stage listing, but if I click edit, you can change the name of that label. You can add items, you can delete items, or you can edit items. That's how you would create a drop-down list, for example. Another thing you can do is change the name of the form. I call it an opportunity, a lead, an incident, whatever you want. And in each case, you can see that there's different fields and labels that you can edit. There's also 3 user-definable tabs. Each of them have a series of labels. There's a total of 84 of these fields. You can click edit, change the label, make it a text box, date field, or drop down. You could make fields mandatory if you check that box. Useful, but I don't recommend getting carried away with that, by the way, because you want to remember CRM is largely about making it easy to use. But in any event, you can also hide those fields. So if you don't use them all, you can simply hide them. So you can go in here, and you'll start in your trial. If you're working on a trial, you'll have a starting template. But you can create new templates and play around with them. And basically what this is doing is designing the forms that I was showing you. So in an opportunity form, again, it's just designing what these labels say and the drop-down values and things of that nature. To activate those changes that you made in your console here, you simply close Outlook and reopen it. I'm going to show you briefly some of the reports that you can run in Profit, although I will caution you that it won't make much sense until you get some data in Profit before you start running reports, but I'll just give you a flavor of what you can expect. So I'm on the report manager over here on the left, and if I wanted to run a report, I simply select which report name I want. I'll do a pipeline report. I put in the date range in this case, which basically filters it to within a certain date range, and I could filter by other criteria, but in this case, I'm just going to click Run Report. So this shows a cross-section, in this case, of my sales pipeline. It shows how many opportunities I have, 58. The total dollar value of those opportunities. In my case, I've added a field that creates an average value. You can see that I've got 23 deals in proposal stage, 14 in demo stage, 13 I'm still qualifying, 4 of those are new leads, and basically they're all listed here in this report. You can sort them any way you want. And in this case, you can see that I have a lot of different opportunities, and the fields that I want to keep track are the account name, the sales rep, that would be your name if you're doing it for your own pipeline, estimated close date, the stage, and revenue. But you can choose what fields you want in these type of reports. I could also do one that's a probability. This one just adds a couple of filters in the report. That one of them is the date range, of course, and then it filters it so they're all stage 5 or higher, the idea being that you don't want to forecast accounts that haven't even gotten pricing. Each one of them has a different probability, so this particular report creates a weighted forecast based on the aggregate probability. It's remarkably accurate. I think you'll like that one. And one more report before we wrap up here will be An activity report, and this is just one of about 30 or so reports that come with Profit. In this case, I'm going to choose a date range of just say December 1 through, let's just say December, why not just December today, 29th. All right, and in this case, I'm just going to click View Report, and what you'll see is all of my entries that I put in there. There's the note that I sent a proposal to Jessica, left a voicemail there, left another voicemail, and each one of these is one of my accounts or prospects that I'm working with, and it just creates kind of a call report. Pretty awesome, though, because you're not having to spend hours creating these call reports anymore. But as a manager, you can go in and look at the activity by sales rep, and there's one more view. You don't have this if it's in the free trial, unless you request it specifically, but it's called Analytics. We can enable it if you need to, and this will give you the ability to do things like, maybe you want to track activity by sales rep over some period of time. So I can go in here and say, let's look at our account list, and maybe you want to look at specific types of activity and see who's doing what kind of activity. Here's a great little dashboard. There's 12 of these dashboards, by the way. How many activities does it take to close deals? That's a good one. Helps you figure out your sales cycle. There are pipeline forecasts, projections, analysis. You can go in here and look at how long the sales cycle are for a team, by individual. You can look at things like conversion rates, booked versus goal, and all kinds of good stuff. This is all in the folder called Analytics. So that will conclude today's tutorial. I hope it's helped out, and we're always happy to help. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out to us or visit our website, and I'm going to post this for a moment. By the way, this slide deck is available if you'd like it to help you with your tutorials. Just reach out and feel free to contact me personally if you'd like. Other resources are available at avidian.com/support, and we have a YouTube channel, so Avidian CRM. Thank you, and have a great day.